So good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Makrand here. Um, and as Nadir mentioned, it's a long story, and I'm quite thrilled to have an opportunity to speak with you today. Um, as Nadir mentioned, I got a lot of 20 plus years experience now, and it's time to give back to community, and that's why we want to build the business analyst product owner community in Malaysia. And I'm privileged to work with a lot of the large corporations in Singapore in last 17 and 20 years. And what I believe that using my experience and expertise, we can actually explore the new perspectives and strategies to navigate in these complex roles and critical roles. I will tell them they're very critical. So once again, delighted to be here. I look forward for engaging an informative session. Don't wait until a Q&A at the end. You can ask question anytime. And I would like to have special thanks to Cognitive Malaysia for giving Uptick Singapore a collaborative opportunity. And without any further delay, let's dive in. I'll share my screen quickly. Um, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay, cool, cool. Thank you. I keep admitting the people because I'm admin also, so maybe Nadir can help me on that. So basically, today we are going to quickly discuss about the integral role of the BA across the various types of projects. And Cognitive Link is Malaysia-based company. Uptake is Singapore-based company. We work in Singapore, we work in Dubai, we work in India, we work in Qatar as well, and we're also going to work soon in Ireland as well. So we have the global presence for Uptake. Today, the workshop will end with the three takeaway which we want to get away from from this session is again a clear understanding of different types of project. Okay, IT projects, the BA roles and responsibilities in that particular project, and what are the key documents BA generally prepare or we generally foresee based on the experience they need to prepare. So this is me quickly. Those who would like to connect with me on the LinkedIn can connect here. You can scan this quickly and connect with me. So I work with various large corporations, Credit Suisse, BNP Paribas, Standard Chartered, and Bank of Singapore before I started the journey with Uptake in collaboration with, of course, with Cognitive Malaysia. So those who would like to connect me, you can connect me on the LinkedIn. It's a Pathak Makran Banking is my URL, or you can scan the code. All right. So without further delay, I would like to get in for the discussion. So before we understand the types of projects, I would like to quickly go back and refresh our memories and refresh the what is a business analyst role, right? And how it is important to the organization. So I'll not spend much time on this because all of you, those who are already BA, know what is that. But generally, we would like to have some brush ups. So basically, it's very a role which actually I would say very pivotal and critical role in the organization, which can be a crucial link between the business and technology. That's a very I would say a definition, very popular definition. But if you go down one more level down, you will understand that they also need to have the very good problem solving skill, the tech skill, communication, and stakeholder management. All of that together makes a good business analyst. And basically, they are actually, the whole job of them is actually to create efficiency uh, while they are actively participate in the solutioning part, and they will also bridge the gap between the business goals and the implementation of solutions. So basically they are like a glue to all of these people, we can say that quickly. Okay. Basically there are some key responsibilities which some of them you might be doing, some of them might be might not be doing because maybe you might be playing different role. So basically different organizations has different responsibilities. but these are very generic responsibilities. Most of the organization do follow. The first one is the requirement illustration and analysis. So here, basically, you speak to the stakeholder, gather the document of business requirement. We call it BRD, analyze, prioritize, and basically make sure that whatever the requirements are, they're aligned with the business goals. Okay, so that is the illustration analysis part where you do the analysis. Then there is a data analysis, which is nowadays getting more and more and more important and more mandatory for the BAs, that they need to understand the data, and based on the data, so business can take decisions. So this is something quite getting popular because of the organizations using data heavily, and they want to use the data to do the decision making. Of course, to understand the patterns and all, who's doing that, what kind of trades they are doing, or what kind of people are buying the stuff. If you're on e-commerce BA, process modeling and design is very interesting area, because I think some stakeholders would like to have more pictures than the text. So during this process, you can define the various stakeholders and their responsibilities, and then you can draw and come up with the improvements or optimization when you cut down the process into small chunks. Documentation is, I think, a pretty user guide and everything is required as part of these specifications. Communications is very key, because you need to speak to technical and non-technical audience both, as part of your role as a part of ITBA. And the collaboration development team, this one, no, we had a lot of fights with the development team on the issues on change requests. So of course, the collaboration is necessary. The more you collaborate, the better the result will come out. The more disagreements, there will be chances that we end up wasting the time on a lot of disagreements. Um, Quality assurance and testing getting more and more and more mandatory, that we should do testing. There's a lot of norms in a lot of organizations, not all, but majority of them. And um, this is happening because the development team is implementing the automations. And once they implement the automation, they want a BA to do the perform the users testing and produce the result for the user to just assign of general. This is a practice. I know it's not right, but because of the users' time, they might not able to give time to the projects. All right. So without further delay, we deep dive into the types of projects. Any question, do not hesitate. You can just raise the hands, or just ping. Okay, and then we will discuss. We want the session to be more collaborative rather than a lecture that I'm talking and you're not asking questions. So uh, uh, let's to be very informal. Okay. All right. So let's dive in the types of software projects. So all the projects we categorize mostly in these four types. Mostly, right? Sometimes they can be a combination of them, but majority will be a combination. They're categorized in these four types. The first one is the greenfield implementation, right? We'll deep dive what is that and all. Second is the product enhancement. Third one is the product upgrade, and the fourth one is the data migrations. Okay, so it is sometimes it's not necessary that they are all independent, but you can also combine the greenfield with the data migration or greenfield with product upgrade and everything. So what is the greenfield implementation? Okay, so anyone from the group would like to say something about the greenfield? Did you guys ever worked on the greenfield from the joining list? Okay, so basically what happened is the greenfield is a process of starting a new project from a scratch. Okay, without building upon or integrating with any existing system, right? So it is it's completely new system you're building, right? So you should be very lucky to get such a project where you're starting from scratch. There are different challenges, but there are different benefits and different whys are there. Why we generally go for a greenfield implementation? When we say why, means organization, why they choose to go for a greenfield implementation, right? The reason is the multiple reasons. One is a technology leap, right? So basically, um, if company would like to move forward to the next technical, they would like to adopt the next technology, they will just go for it. Innovation, flexibility, customization, scalability, cost saving, avoid legacy issues, cultural shift, reduce grace, compliance, regulation, organization. So these are the whys are there, why they basically choose the greenfield, right? So in technological leap, as I mentioned, that basically they want to actually, suppose we'll take an example. If the organization is having an old CRM system, right? So they it is like very very old, and it doesn't have much feature. So either they fix that, or they can say, okay, we throw away this and we maybe implement a new CRM system using Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics or HubSpot or Zoho, could be anything, right? So they want to skip one technology and then directly go for the new, so they can be actually stay ahead with the competitors and industry trends. Innovation, flexibility. So basically, it's a greenfield. Basically, it's offer a freedom to innovate and design and redesign your existing process. Also, this is very important because it is new. So you don't have any impact to the existing processes. So you able to actually propose the new processes, right? Without any concern the existing technology and existing systems and their impact analysis and all. So basically, this flexibility also allows the organizations, to adopt the latest technology. So generally, want to go for a latest technology, best practices followed in the in the market. This allows the greenfield customization. Now it's a new, so no customization worries. You can customize the way you want it. You can ask them how you want to do it. Everything is possible. Okay. Scalability, because you're starting from scratch, so you can define the scalability. You can define that, okay, next 3 years we are expecting from 100,000 to 1 million clients, and we need maybe not 5, maybe 10 features. So you can come up with a planning very well in advance for the greenfield implementation. Cost saving in some areas, not all. In some areas the cost saving is feasible because the cost of changing or upgrading the any existing legacy system might be very 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 expensive, and the retrofit activity, it just go on and on and on and on. The big impact on the reputation if something goes wrong. That's why people go for greenfield. They can avoid the legacy issues. So of course you're not touching legacy systems, so no legacy issues. So that's why they would like to go for greenfield. And this happen because sometimes there are people keep adding the technical debt to the legacy systems, and it's keep mounting that like a time bomb, and then people want to avoid it, they just go for a greenfield implementations. Reduce the risk. So basically, of course, you are implementing something new, so there are very less reputational risk impacts on the various department because you're starting something from scratch. So and the complexities are less because you're starting from scratch compare like a brownfield, which is the existing system projects. So you'll have the less risk for that. There are other benefits are there. Culture shift, organization. So culture shift will happen people because you're putting the new process, the new way of working. So there is a culture shift will happen with the greenfield because the reorg will happen, the departments will change because you change the business process also, not just technology. So the culture shift may happen. And in majority cases, I saw that it happened. And the good part is the organization, the people get aligned. They basically the alignment is better because they had to work closely to build this project. And then initially we are clear, distinguish which team will do what, which team will not do what, and everything. So that alignment is very important to have a successful business. And the compliance and regulations, because you are starting something new, you need to adhere all the local laws, international laws, incorporate all the regulatory requirements into the product, and and easy to also do the audit for them if it is required, rather than you're retrofitting the existing. So that's the challenge if you're not having greenfield. So but these are the whys generally people use when they go for a greenfield implementation. um, then the second is a version upgrade, right? So it's a product upgrade. So this is very 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 common, right? So the product, the product version upgrade is basically, you have existing product, you bought it from the vendor. Now they are saying that there's a version upgrade happening. Okay. Um, there are various reasons they do. They want to improve the functionality, they want to add the feature, and sometimes the compatibility issue happen that our product no more work with Windows 8. Now is Windows 11 is there, 12 is there, so that could be a reason that they basically do the upgrade. And the most important is that the vulnerabilities. So it's very very common. A lot of products, even if you see on your phone, you got a update on your Meta or your Instagram or TikTok, it's very often because they see some vulnerability, they will see some risk, so they keep upgrading the version of the product. Why it is needed? So why generally the product companies basically do the upgrade? Various things are there. Bug fixes, security enhancement, technical debt reduction, competitive advantage, customer engagement, if new features or functionality, and so on and so on. We can go deep dive in the detail. So bug fixes. So what happened is that no product is perfect in the world, right? So there are always issues with the product. So they keep fixing the issues and they keep releasing those fixes to make sure the customer is happy, right? So you can have fewer disruption to the customers. So more the people like it. Security enhancement. This is very important in the world of cyber security threats, and they keep upgrading the product to make sure the security enhancements are up to date to avoid any cyber attacks and all. Technical debt reduction. So so what happens is that there are, suppose you bought a product and you already identify there are like 20 issues are there. So in order to avoid amounting that 20 to 200, they keep releasing so they can do the technical debt reduction at their end, and less issues with the less customers is happy business, and more revenue. Another competitive advantage. So you think for a minute imagine you are running a meta company or a company similar like an e-commerce, where you need to be keep up to speed of what market is asking. Suppose now WhatsApp recently updated the Meta AI is part of the WhatsApp now. So they want to do it because they upgrade quickly, so they can get the competitive advantage. Okay. And the customer engagement. So basically, the more customer is happy because I no need to go to ChatGPT now. I can do all the questions asked in Meta. I personally enjoyed that. I'm not promoting Meta, by the way, but I'm telling you. So they're so smart. So everything with people want everything in WhatsApp now. So and the more we will become loyal to that company automatically. And unfortunately, we don't have any alternative to WhatsApp now. So loyalty might become second. Okay. The new feature and functionality, of course, they always want to give new features to you to make sure that you're on the platform, use it daily and all and all. Performance optimization is very key. Sometimes the upgrade happen, but you don't know. You don't see that in the screen and all, or what is changed, but they might be changed something behind to improve the performance, right? Um, as I mentioned, compatibility. I think this is very important. Most of the companies do the version upgrade, major version upgrade due to the compatibility issue, because they build the product based on some operating system, and when the operating system release the new version, then the product might work or maybe become slower. So they want to also catch up with that. That's why they do the version upgrade. User experience is sometimes they want to change the user experience completely. If you look at the Amazon site like 15 years back and now, it's a huge change because they keep adding the user experience now. Last time it take I think 8 clicks to order something on Amazon. I think now it's 3 or 4 clicks. Click, select the product and buy directly. If the credit card is attached, of course. So they actually work on that. And they also need to adhere a lot of local laws, international laws, and they keep fixing that. The data protection is a very very big problem always as company facing. So they keep working on that particular area to make sure the data leakage is not happening, or the data collection they are doing it correctly, not collecting the unnecessary data from a client. Okay, any questions on the product upgrade? So far good, everyone? Okay, all right. Okay, let's deep dive on the product enhancements now. So what is the product enhancement? Upgrade, we know. What do you mean by enhancements? So what happens is that in the product enhancements, what happen is that they, their main focus is basically to add the features to the existing product, right? And what they do that, uh, uh, so sometimes it is not necessary that you need to do this upgrade for the enhancements. You can skip that also, right? Um, and uh, there are some various benefits are there, right? So now you think from a product company point of view for a minute, right? So when you do the product enhancement and if you implement a new feature which is leading toward the revenue generation, would you wait for the people to know? You do want to do the force upgrade. Oh, please upgrade. It's a free, but the new feature is that you might would like to use it, so that can generate a additional revenue to the product-based companies. Fixing bugs and issues also one of the part of the product enhancement they actually sneak in. So generally what happen is that when the product get released, they will also release some additional additional bug fixes and issues without you knowing it, right? Sometimes it's a technical issues. They also follow the compliance and regulations. Similarly, product upgrade, they would like to also fix that. Now product enhancement can happen internally also. So for example, when you bought a product from a vendor and you got an opportunity also to contribute to that product, you can also do the enhancement as an internal team or as a customer also, right? You would like to change UI UX, you want to put your own company logo in that product, you can still do it, right? So that's the difference. And uh, These enhancements generally happen because the users are keep asking the new features. So this happened mostly to those projects where uh, the implementation takes place internally with the company. This is important. When you bought, some companies do not allow to make any changes to the product, like Oracle, like any other product, Microsoft. So they don't allow. But Microsoft, you when you buy the product services, you can make the changes internally. If you bought their CRM, but if you bought their Azure cloud and all, you will not able to make a changes. They will do the changes based on their schedule. So that's the major difference. Of course, the when you bought a product internally, you want to make a changes to do the adapt the technological advances. Yeah, you can do it. You can do additional integrations, no problem. It's a product now, and you want to become stay competitive because of that, because you have latest tech stack which is which is with you, and then you want to outpace the competitors. Why not? Why not? Security enhancements, I think this is everywhere. Do any project you do it, security enhancement is become mandatory. Cyber security, because of the part of threats, so they keep fixing the issues if there are any password or anything you're doing it and all. Enhancement sometimes also comes with the scalability issues. So we are not able to scale. So what you do, you put additional server or you put additional thing, or maybe you change the core, maybe you split the multiple modules, from back to front, and then you actually work on the performance that's a part of the enhancements also. And sometimes you get a lot of feedback from customer. Oh, this sucks, it's not working, this is not working. You keep getting that feedback and then create a backlog to do the product enhancement in your organization. So generally, why I'm sharing all this, because BAs are mostly involved in this. They will get all this first, and business will tell the problems. ITB has to come up the problem and then maybe come up, work with the business to create a business case. Why we should fix this, or why should invest in this particular product enhancements. All right. So with this, we are moving to the last part, which is the data migration, and this can go very, very, very complex, right? So because of the data is getting a new uh, 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 people say that the DBS chairman say the data is not new oil, data is new air. It is everywhere, right? So what is this project, right? So these projects basically what they do basically they majority of the focus on the data migration between the systems or external or internal both, right? So these are the some of the stuff which basically we do for data migration, right? One is the legacy system decommission. So take an example, your exit system A, you are decommissioning that, making B, and you want to get rid of the legacy system, but you want to keep the data. I think that is very important. You want to keep the data, so you can use that. Data cleansing, quality improvements is quite important. System upgrade, you can do data consolidation. Business expansion could be one of the reasons for data migration, that you want to consolidate data into one database. Data center relocation sometimes require the data migration because you don't want to keep some data in cloud. You want to keep some data only in the in-house, then you do the migration of only remaining data. Data archiving is something very key activity which every company does, whether it's bank or non-bank or e-commerce, everyone do that. Performance optimization is another important factor for the data migration, and risk mitigation and improve the data accessibility. So let's deep dive into this. I see still people joining, no problem. Um, so legacy system decommissioning, right? So what happened is that you have old system, maybe DB2 or maybe Excel, MS Access or SQL. Now you want to move to MongoDB or some other database, and the legacy system is organization don't want to continue. So then the data migration is a necessary, right, to transfer valuable data from your legacy system to the new system or to the modern platform. Now the historical data might not be used, but you still need to migrate the data because um, there are um, there are restrictions and there are local regulations that you have to keep the data for 7 years and 10 years. So you need to keep maintain those records. Then the data cleansing and quality improvements, right? So with the data migration, data can be clean. You can standardize the data sometime. The data is not in the right format. We can change that everything. And why we do that? Clean data will help us to give a good leads, good insight about the data, so the business can take the right decisions based on that data. Most of the organizations are spending a lot of money on the data cleansing activities because they have huge data, but that data is useless if they are not organized properly. So that data cleansing is very important. A lot of companies are spending huge amount of data to do that. Okay. Then we have system upgrade and replacement. So when organization upgrade, they want to replace the existing systems. Okay. Then data management become mandatory because you still have some data somewhere sitting. Whether you use it or not, that's a separate story. You cannot say that, okay, we will export in Excel and keep in archive. It is not allowed. Compliance will say no, 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 because there is no protection on that data and no access control on that data. So we don't allow that. Small organization may allow, but when you go to the large corporations, they don't allow that. Okay. And basically, system upgrade is the data migration generally are very common. Data consolidation. So basically, uh, uh, if you're a large corporation, multinational in multiple countries, they get the data from various systems, and they want to do the data consolidation, and basically that will help them to the proper data management, and that also require the data migration projects. That there is a data you need to migrate from system A to system B or maybe system C, or some data to system A, some data to system B, similar like that. Data migration project can be the most complex project because of the criticality. Business expansion. So when we have the business expansion, so take an example. Your company has an office in Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia. and now you're opening a branch in suppose Japan, right? So you need to do so as part of the initial setup, you need to do some basic data migration. That could be one of the example. Um, and uh, uh, that could lead to the a good business decision, because your existing data, you transfer some data for initial for a decision making purpose. um, Data center relocation, generally what happen is that when the data center relocation happen, in most of the cases you don't see data migration activity. But imagine you are uh, relocating data from the um, from Singapore to Malaysia, or maybe Singapore to or from Malaysia to suppose maybe if it's Indonesia. It is cheaper. Malaysia is very expensive. We're not able to afford it. So they say, okay, we want to move the data center from Malaysia to maybe Jakarta. Then our data compliance officer will come and say, no, 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 we cannot send the customer data there. So why don't you create two instances? One instance you keep it in Malaysia, or maybe keep the data internally. So do some migration, get the data back in our organization, and the remaining data you can move back. So this could be one of the use case for data relocation, where I worked actually one of the company. They say no, client data we don't want to say oversee. So we created a small database internally. Now, when you create a small database, everything changes, right? Because the integration points change, and then business also see opportunity during that um, migration. They say, can you add this field? Can you add that field? And something like that. It can go very complex. So very careful. Data archival and compliance. So regulatory requirements keep asking about data archival. So, the data migration projects will help us to do the older archive, and we can keep the data in the tapes as and when there's a need from the regulations to do some investigation. That data can be used. So, data migration projects also get initiated because of that archiving policy rules or archiving need. This also happen. And of course, the performance optimization. So, this is very, very common. A lot of data get migrated, or data can change, and data migration can happen because of the system is not performing well. And This generally it generally happen in large corporation where the huge data is there. Though people say that there are microservice architecture, this and that, but still ultimately, the underneath the database, and it has to be really optimized to the level that all your satellite system accessing the data should work with the good performance. Then we have the risk mitigation. So what happened is that uh, the data migration, the project basically generally uh, in most of the cases what happened is that the data migration basically they um, uh, when they organize the data in a right fashion, you can actually mitigate the risk. So I'll give an example which I faced in one of the report. The unnecessary data was flowing, and the report being used by operations, and they're not supposed to see some client with confidential data. Then the data migration project was initiated, that to move some of the data to another cluster or another instance, so the operations team cannot access that data. So they did the data risk mitigation with that. um, and basically when we do the data migration, any data migration project, right, we do a lot of testings and validations also. And we find something like, I'll give one simple example. uh, we built one application CRM, and business users saving customer address or sometimes customers confidential information in notes field. This is very, very common, I tell you, very common. Wherever they fill extra space, the front office keep just inputting the data. So when we do the data migration, we realize, oh, there is additional name. Then we go back to business, we see out of like 400,000 records, we see 10,000 records got data in the notes field. What should we do with this? Then what we did, it was very difficult to get answer from business, so we created a new field and we transfer all the data into field until they make a noise. When they start making noise, we say, don't worry, there is a field. You request to the support team to get your data out, something like that. So that can help to mitigate the risk uh, as part of the data migration. Then have the improved data accessibility. So basically, um, when we do the data migration, we also make sure that we do the proper authentication and authorization control in place. And that will help to users to access the right data. Of course, we do cleansing and everything, and then when they access the data, so basically they will be able to access the data properly. For example, a person from operations team cannot access the data of sales or other way around, for example. So that is the data accessibility will improve. Who will access the data will be defined well when we do the data migration projects, because that is a very key as part of the data migration. Okay, so these are the four things we discuss about the types of projects, right? You can mix up the project. I come back to the first slide. We can mix up the projects, right? Data migration with a greenfield can have data migration. Yes, why not? Can product enhancement have data migration? Yes, right? Product update can have data migration? Yes, no problem. Can have. So you can basically, yeah, Junaidi, you can ask question.
Hi.
Yeah,
My friend. I
yeah.
got a question here, right?
Uh,
It's a bit generic question, right? I want to know, right? In the ideal situation, right?
mhm.
Does one need to be a subject matter expert to become a good ITBA?
Um,
I mean
yes,
that,
and
for
yeah, okay.
example, say that I'm working on the unit
Uh,
trust project, right?
yeah.
So, do I need to be a subject matter expert for unit trust in order for me to become a good BA, or I can?
Okay, to answer, this is a very good question. Okay, and we can debate for a whole day for this, but I tell you the answer. Initially not, right? But when you work on that domain for so long time, it is an advantage for you, but it will not stop you to become a very good BA. What happens is that most of the time, Junaidi, what happens is that, just, sorry if I'm pronouncing you right or not, but most of the time what happens is that the business expect a BA should know how business works. Their expectation leads towards sometimes frustration. So to answer your question, it is not necessary, but if you learn that, you are the best. You are the best, trust me, because business will be happy and they know that they need to only tell you 2 lines and then you understand 20 lines, or they understand the problem in detail, or you can come up with some innovative ideas. But as an BA, if you're working on multiple projects, how many things you can learn? So what I suggest generally people that if they are working for example, unit trust, but they should know very at least high level how unit trust works, that level of information. Now you want to go into the detail into the subject matter expert. That is the expertise. We will have the senior BAs for that, or maybe a BA head who knows all the product generally. That level it happens, because if you are a junior BA or BA with less than 8 years experience, generally you get allocated to multiple projects, sometimes data migration projects, sometimes the CRM project, sometimes the ERP project, sometimes the project required on digital banking, or maybe client facing projects. So to answer your question, it is beneficial in order to take that ladder of a subject matter expert. It is necessary. Yeah, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that you asked question. Yeah, so any question from anyone else? We'll quickly go into the basic documentation required based on my experience. Happy to also hear your views on that for each project. As a BA, what documentation you need to prepare, right? Um, Let me go quickly. Okay. Okay, I was to be fast. Okay, so we go for the green field, right? Now, what are the BA's consideration? What you need to consider? Okay, greenfield is, trust me, you to be very lucky to be the part of greenfield project. It is complex, but it has a lot of opportunities to learn and inject a lot of thoughts into the business in order to make a decision the way you want it. So you do the discovery. When you discover, you have the workshop with the business and understand everything from the what exactly they're trying to reach and why you are implementing this, right? What is the goal? Um, as a BA, you can work with the architectures and some seniors to define the target operating model as part of the greenfield, how it generally works and all. So because the greenfield, as I mentioned earlier, right, it's not just an implementation. There could be a business process change, department changes, or merging, or splitting the departments can be possible. So target operating model is very important. Uh, another interesting part is product evaluation. I think this you're gonna love because as a BA, you get an opportunity to learn and explore every product from the market. A lot of vendor comes, okay, our product is better, our product is better. As a BA, you have to be part of that evaluation from the cost point of view, from benefit point of view, from total cost of ownership point of view, next 5 years cost point of view, um, compatibility point of view, integration point of view, how easy this product can be integrated with Microsoft, for example. Is it difficult? Yeah, then maybe we need to think something else. Um, so there are a lot of, and of course the business and money is the very important part in that, but sometimes, you have to think the long-term view and also the organization standards as well. The stakeholder management, I think this is very, very common you do, but in the greenfield, it will help you to identify the stakeholders at very early stage. You need to facilitate the working groups. Each department, at least you engage one person to get their view on greenfield. And when you talk about the target operating model with them, then they will give you the a lot of good inputs because they want this. Everybody knows that the greenfield is when everybody will get a seat in the car or in the bus or train, so they'll give bombard with the requirements, right? And then as a BA, it will be sometimes a really difficult job. Access control definition, because we are defining a greenfield, so it's very clear who will access what and how much. So we can define that very clearly. We call that authorization, right? Who will see what. And then as part of this, you can also do the documentation process standardization. So because you're starting from scratch, you can define the product documentation or project documentation, live documentation, which people can keep need to change, create a data dictionary from fresh. Those all things can happen. So key generally document, we propose that you do the target operating model document, security access control plan, which is nothing but access control. Who will access what? Business process maps. This is very common because you define all the business process, you design that and give to the either to the implementation team, or maybe your own team, or maybe a vendor team, right? Or them. Then the change management plan. I think this is very common. What is the process of a change during the implementation? Because we don't want to see that every time they say, oh, it's a BA problem, BA has not given the requirement. It's very common, trust me. This is very, very common. So if we define that with the PM, project manager, or agile project delivery manager, our life can become easy. Okay. So these are key documents. There could be more documents, but generally key documents I only noted down based on my experience. Happy to have your view on this. BS consideration, product upgrade. Now you're doing product upgrade. The most important part as a BA, what you need to consider, you need to first read the release notes. Product company came and they say we have product upgrade. This is upgrade coming. Why it is coming? Is it technical upgrade or is it a function? With technology, it's also some feature upgrade is also there. You need to ask these questions. Um, of course, impact analysis is I think as a ITBA we are keep doing it. But I just mentioned here, is there any changes in the data structure? It's a major upgrade or minor upgrade. If it is major, what is there in data structure change, because it can impact our downstream, and they expect our ITBA to do that. So this is a tough job, I understand. And then you also ask them, is there any feasibility to incremental upgrades? Means you just upgrade the tech part first, and then feature you do it next weekend. First we check whether technology works, nothing is breaking down. then we release the features, something like that. And also you check the new capabilities. They say, okay, you can do this and that now. The vendor says, okay, you need to evaluate whether we need it. If needed, you go to business and say that the new feature come now. You want to use it, um, and can it add in the value to business? And of course, the business process impact. I think we do this every time. If there is any change comes in, first we check is the existing process, my process, which I defined with business using happy, is it impacted? So this is something we are doing as a product upgrade because uh, if the existing process get impacted, we'll have business impact directly, and that will lead to the financial impact, of course. The key documents we say the impact assessment document, which generally we prepare as the ITBA. Data model changes if there are any, so you can have data dictionary or Excel. Your tool is not important. Whether you understand that concept and you're capturing that either in PPT, Excel, doesn't matter. The release plan, I think this is very important. As a BA, ITBA generally contribute to the release plan. They don't own it. It's owned by the IT project manager, but they own it, and that's why they can start preparing the release plan. Okay, we do this day and that way. Communication plan, I think very important. You have to make a plan which department we need to communicate, which department we need to give the training, or is there any changes we need to share with them, something like that. So that plan is important. Any questions on this? No. All right, we'll move to the next one. Okay. Okay. The product enhancement also similar. Release notes very important. Uh, the functional upgrade analysis again, whether it's a functional change is there or not. So product enhancement actually you can do internally also, as I mentioned earlier, right? The most important part you consider the dependency management, which because you are implementing internally now, right? So it is not the vendor is telling that, oh, we are upgrading that now. You are also actually we are doing enhancement changes to the product. So you need to do the dependency management with various teams, departments, who's accessing the data. Are you sending any feed to the downstream or upstream or you know whatnot? Um, and you need to clearly communicate dependencies with the people. I think this is very key for ITBA in order to tell them that you've done your job well and which is what is required, which we do already. But sometimes because of the communication, all the departments and other teams they start finger pointing the ITBS, which is sad, but it's true. So we need to do that communication very key. Some key documents we refer here, the upgrade impact analysis, upgrade feasibility assessment. So when you are doing the enhancements, you need to also do the feasibility check whether it is really needed. Data migration plus if any. So if you have any data migration in both, actually, it is also applicable here and here. But generally, product upgrade will not have the data migrations mostly, but enhancements will have because you have changes to the functions and that could lead to the data migration. The data migration is exhaustive list is there. Data understanding, understand the source, understand destination, understand data lineage from where the data is coming, which is the golden source, and so on and so sensitive data. If you don't migrate this properly, what will happen? Can if we migrate the wrong data, are we going to have the big financial impact tomorrow? Right, could be possible. Take an example, if you're working in e-commerce and if you migrate the data where all the offers become 85%. I saw a recent data issue with one of the very big e-commerce company. um, Instead of giving 15% off on iPhone, or not iPhone, it was Android Sony phone, they give an 85% discount. And I think 100 people have ordered, and then they realize it that they fixed the bug, but they deliver to I don't know whether it's a marketing gimmick, but this is what happened. Sensitivity is very important. Target system readiness. So as a part of data migration project, you need to check whether target system compatibility, their data mapping definition, the cleansing requirement, if any, you're migrating data, whether the destination system is ready to accept the data or not, whether they have such a column, their length, and this is detailed, need to study by the ITBA. Migration process planning, the loading and validation planning. So how they're going to load is a technical part, but from the business point of view, you can mention that okay, they will load directly database to database, or maybe there will be intermediate layer, and then we'll upload the data. How to validate the data? What are the reconciliation techniques we need to use? There are many reconciliation techniques. I worked heavily on the data migration projects. I know the complexities. They're the most complex projects. Um, Testing and rollback planning, this ITPM do generally, but they ask all the inputs from us. Mark my words, they ask inputs from us. They will ask what is the rollback planning, or make a test plan and everything. Not sure your organization has the testing team, but generally now the ITBA is being asked to do the testing, so we need to prepare some test plan. Additional work is for ITBA, but you have a testing team, that's great. But even they have testing team, they'll ask input from you. So ultimately, you need to think of these considerations when you're doing data migration. Um, the key document list is the migration strategy document. I think this is very, very important. And then we have the mapping document. I think this everybody know, data migration mapping and data dictionary mapping, data extraction specification. So because the vendor comes and they say, okay, how do I extract data? All means what? You have to tell, okay, extract the data from this table, use this field, say the data should be less than, or maybe data from 2004 to 14 only, something like that. Okay. Data dictionary is very, very common. A reconciliation strategy. If you anyone work on the data migration, reconciliation is the key. A reconciliation report people generally sign off. They say that okay, the source data is A and destination A, not A plus plus, unless the business defines it, right? So reconciliation generally people give a last priority, even it's in document list is last, it should be on the top. Very, very important. It's similar important than the migration strategy, because that will the final nail. Not business cannot go and test every field, right? You know that. And we're talking about hundreds of columns, thousands of tables. Impossible to check the reconciliation without reconciliation strategy automation. So these are some consideration for each project as a ITBA you can do, right? Um, the time is 10:55 now. We are a little bit over. Any other question from anyone? Happy to take the call. Yeah, Junaidi.
It's me again. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
But it is a short one, right?
uh,
I think most of us have this kind of experience, right? Some
yeah.
of the project that we got, right, it's supposed to be a greenfield in the beginning. But then suddenly over the time, then we get the buy-in from management, and over the time, then it shifts from greenfield to something else, like product enhancement due to some reasons because of the budget and everything, right?
Hmm.
So will that impact the end product of our original goal? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and I can feel the pain what I had for 20 years. They start with something, and then the management change or something happen. Quarter doesn't go good. They say, okay, cut the budget, and then you make sure you work with the existing product, enhance it, right? So your data, so what are your plan for the greenfield goes into vein. I understand. So what happened is that. Um, because I work very, very closely with business, Junaid, very close. Means I used to work with the business where we define the profit and losses. So I understand every penny they pay to the IT for implementation, they count it. And it's not that they don't want the great system; they want the great, better, best systems. But the cost of implementation and the delays, they hate it. They hate the delays. You tell them, I'll give you, if they ask 10 features, if you say, I'll give only two, but if you give them on the time, they're more than happy. This all happened because of the anticipation of the delays, right? I'm not blaming IT team for that. There are many factors in that who the delay happen. It's not IT. The delay happen because of sometimes the business don't give the details on time, right? Sometimes we have a different priority. We have resource crunch. People leave the companies, right? The different reasons. So to answer your question short, can it impact the end product? Absolutely yes. But if you look at from the business point of view, they are happy with uh, they are happy with having a brownie than the cake. They're happy with that now. So as a um, enabler to the business, enabler I'm telling, right? You're enabler to the business. You need to see what is benefit to the business quickly. Project change happen, this thing happen, but what we're delivering, adding value to them, little bit. Doesn't matter that the value has to be very big. If I'm hungry and if you there's no food, but if you can still give me some peanuts, it's okay for me for some time as a business. So similarly, if you give them the features, add the value, even with the shift happen, the strategy change happen, is adding value to business, is still okay. If not adding value to business and if you're just doing for burning budget, that is why the frustration start coming in, because we know it's not being useful, it's being thrown away. That thing is not good. This used to happen in the past. I guess with a lot of dynamism now, it's not going to happen. So I hope I answer your question, Junedi.
Yes, you do. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
yeah. I like the question. I mean it. I actually, it's like touching my heart because I face the same problem. Yeah, Eliza.
Hi. I have this a very simple question. I know that there are four types of software projects, right? So I'm just curious, on which category does the core banking replacement project falls into?
Yeah, this is very interesting question. Core banking is the most complex project, Eliza. Trust me, but it is very fascinating. When you finish the project, right, you're the happiest person. So what happens is that the core banking generally comes, depends, right? Are you taking new core banking? If yes, then it's a greenfield with data migration. You know what I mean? If you are getting a new core banking product and throwing away existing one, then it's a greenfield plus data migration, because you need to migrate the existing data anyway. You cannot throw away that data, right? So that's a combination.
Okay.
But if you're upgrading the existing core banking, and if that requires any data migration, then that also you can combine in that. So now it's clear, right? So if you're throwing away, but you still need to get that, then you use the data migration plus greenfield together.
I see. Okay, noted. Thank you.
Okay, most welcome. Any very good question, Leila, by the core banking is complex.
Yeah. Makran, we have a question from Emily from RSP Bank. And question is, how can a BA help in estimating the scope with expected timeline?
Very interesting question. So, what is the name? Sorry, Nadir?
Emily,
Emily.
Emily from
So
RSP Bank.
Emily. This is based on my experience, 20 years in banks. I can tell you, they define the timeline and they say, okay, give estimation now, right? So first thing, don't worry, there are techniques, right? You are not the only one who's giving estimations. Everybody else is giving estimation. So if you're talking only your own estimation, no problem. You give the estimation. Never say that it's not possible within that timeline. You'll say what is possible within that timeline. And if you want to do this with this timeline, what additional support, additional resources, additional people you need in order to complete the work. And as long as that is being endorsed and justified, I don't think so that's a problem. Right? So that is for only you. Now, when comes for the team, it is very challenging. If we are collecting the estimation from the people, we use different estimation technique actually, which we generally discuss during the workshop. We do a lot of exercise there, where we actually it's from the agile, but even from the waterfall, you can use that when you do the estimation, relative estimations. Right? There are a lot of other techniques are there, back of envelope, or you can ballpark number. Those are very, very, very dangerous. So we go relative estimation. So when you have requirements 10 out of 10, you try to find out the estimation for one requirement, then you compare with other requirements. So we do that relative estimation. So that is one of the technique you can use.
So yeah, thanks for the clarity. Thanks for the clarity. It's just that there are some based on experience, there were some projects get delayed, which is like what you mentioned, what you explained to Junedi just now, why the management tend to go forward enhancement rather than creating a greenfield implementations, right? It's because of they want something that fast, right? But however, when come to enhancement, right? The timeline will still the same, right? Despite of whether the scope creep is, despite of whether they are scope creep or not, it just somehow rather the estimation not just come from a BA, but also the estimation come from the project, not so accurate per se as the management, because the timeline itself will be equivalent to cost and money, right? So the more the project gets delayed, they are burning the money, right? So how the team, the entire team can actually scope it correctly with the expected timeline. I am interested to know about that.
Okay, so this is very interesting. Very interesting. See, the thing is that I can tell you one thing with my entire experience. You cannot be correct with the first time. And I hope you are not using Agile, or if you're using Agile, you have an opportunity to fix that every sprint when you do the retrospective. But if you are doing waterfall, and this is a very big problem with the waterfall, that you have very big scope, and initially if it is not unclear, the timeline can go for a toss. So in waterfall, now to give a solution to you, what we generally do that, if it is a good project manager, a good IT project manager, it is his job that he keep checking the commitment and the timeline, can we still meet it very regularly, maybe even less than week, or maybe weekly. Less than week is too much, but weekly. So that is one thing we used to do when I was running the very big program in one of the BNP Paribas, where the timelines was always delaying. So we found this, that okay, we keep checking the the timeline weekly basis, and then we will adjust it, and then inform to management. And the early you inform, the better support you get it. The late you inform, everybody get hit. Generally what happens is that we, in waterfall, we wait until SAT UAT and we found a bug, and it's not bug actually, it's a new feature business wanted. And this is very, very common. So if you are in Agile, this is a benefit you get it, that because you have 3 weeks or maybe 2 weeks sprint, and then we finish it, you get an opportunity. Oh, we committed 4 screens, we develop only 1. Why? Okay, next time don't commit 4, we'll commit only 1 and we'll deliver only 1. So that flexibility get in Agile, but if you implement it properly. But in waterfall, the challenge is there. In order to do that, the regular checkups is only required. But if the timelines are too much overcommitted by management and say, no, 6-month work, you do it in 3 months, people end up burning and people end up leaving the companies. I have so many examples like this. But as ITBA, you have to say, and that say you have to explain to them why this required more time, and why if I were to do that, I need 2 more extra resource to help me to do this part. Because what happened in most of the cases, Emily, all the work is allocated to the BA. ITPM will come to BA, developers will come to BA, testing will come to BA, when sometimes management directly come to BA, business anyway is still coming to the BA for everything. So BA is overwhelmed with lot of activities. And that is why we don't focus on that. When they ask timeline, okay, give quickly, which generally, I'm not sure you do that, but I did such a mistakes in past and burned my hands that I given the numbers quickly, or because they want by evening. No, take your time, give the number and say what is possible within that timeline. If not, I need 2 more resource and I can do this. So this is the only way to respond, not to react. Is that to answer your question, Emily?
Maybe we should have a separate chat for this.
Sure. We can add in LinkedIn, no problem. And you guys are following Agile, you did not told me, or Waterfall?
Okay. The management is actually expecting a fixed timeline.
Okay.
Okay. And also a fixed cost.
Okay.
Okay. But however, the team work in an agile way. Okay. Within the committed fixed timeline and also the fixed cost.
I got it. So it's a very rare scenario, but not very uncommon, to be, trust me. It is very common in most of the banks and most of the companies. There is a way. We will chat later. There is a way you can still fix it. And first, what you need to, you cannot fix all the problem, Emily, I can tell you. You can fix the problem which majority of the things can solve from the ITBA point of view. If the technology team has a lot of rejection, people leaving the company or resigning, you cannot solve that problem, and that delay is inventable. You cannot stop, right? So there are something which you cannot stop. But things from the ITBA point of view, I'll share you. We can do a lot of things. We actually in one of the workshop we discussed this part actually very detailed for 2 hours. A lot of debate happened, and then other company, there are some people came from the Swift company and they also shared their thoughts. Some people came from the waterfalls. We discuss and then we come up with one model that time. So it was good. Yeah, we will chat separately. No, we can add me in the LinkedIn. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay, okay, Makran. there are a few questions. I guess we can just hurry it up because it's been over an hour. So next question is coming from Huzaifa. Hi, I have a question with Agile / Scrum approach. Does a BA role change?
Okay, the BA role change. The Agile, the BA role won't change. Generally, they expect the BA to do the cross-functional work, means understand a little bit on the technology side. I'll give one example to you. So if there is a need to define the new API, they expect the BA to design the API, not code, design. So they need to understand that technical part a little bit more. The cross-functional expectation is from the BA, including the testing. So the role will be there, trust me, but they expect you to work very closely with the ITPO, the product owner, and also help them to write a story if needed. Okay, so role will be there, but you have to play a lot of helping hand role with a lot of people and do cross-functional. Yeah.
Okay, good. Next question from Marina. Should BA need to have technical knowledge like developers to convince stakeholders for the software project quality?
Basic knowledge is required, not in detail. Basic knowledge per se pertain to the basic how SQL works, the basic how API works, how the cloud works. Very, very basic, like 40,000 feet, but you know capabilities you should know, not how technical. Capabilities is important. So if you know the technical, sometimes it will be very good and bad. I tell you, because I had technical knowledge and I was sometimes very bad BA for the people because I know everything. So of course it's not necessary, but knowing it is always better. Capabilities knowing is important. Okay.
Okay, another question from our dear friend Junaidi. Is it BA roles and responsibility to access risk on certain implementation?
Okay, can you repeat the question? What is it?
Is it the BA role and responsibility to access risk on certain implementation?
Basically, the risk is captured by the ITPM, project manager, or a Scrum Master. As a BA, we need to give the inputs to that risk if you identify. But to answer your question, who own that risk? ITBA don't own the risk. The risk is owned by the ITPM. But imagine now the people they're telling I need a role with BAPM. So you become automatically PM and then you own the risk if the organization works in that fashion. But you need to highlight that risk if you know it. But it is not accountable or owned by the ITBA. It is by the ITPM. Okay. Any other question, Audit?
No more questions. Chok Wai Hong said thanks a lot. I guess hopefully he benefited from attending the session. Yeah, well, I guess Makran, the time is up. I guess they need to go back to work. This is midday, right? And yeah, thank you for this session. I believe it was beneficial for the participants, and we hope so too. And for the participants, thank you so much for taking part in today's session and being so active. And I would say this was our first ever session, right? Free webinar session with Makran, and I would say the response is quite overwhelming. And thank you so much, everyone. And please take note that this is going to become a weekly, a regular kind of webinar, and we look forward to getting your input as well as a part of the community to give us your input in terms of what areas you would like us to improve and what kind of topics you would like Makran to cover for the upcoming sessions as well. And please feel free to invite your colleagues, friends who you believe could benefit from the session, and stay tuned for more to come. And yeah, hope to see you guys again.